Okay, so then the prayers before teachings, either in the text or on the screen. I think everyone's got a text anyway. So we start on page 1. Okay. From the heart of the Savior, 100 deities of Tashita, on the peak of a cloud resembling a clump of extremely white fresh curd, King of the Dharma, omniscient Losandrapa, please come here together with your sons. In the sky before me, on a lion-throned lotus and moon, my perfect pure Guru smiles with delight. Supreme field of merit from the mind of faith, please abide for 100 eons to spread the teachings. Your holy mind has the intelligence that understands the full extent of objects to be known. Your holy speech with its excellent explanations is an ear ornament for those of good fortune. Your holy body is radiantly beautiful with glory renowned. To you who are meaningful to see, hear, and remember, I prostrate. Pleasing drinking water, various flowers, fragrant incenses, lights, scented waters, and so forth. Oceans of cloud-like offerings, both actually arranged and mentally emanated, I offer to you the supreme field of merit. Whatever non-virtue of body, speech, and mind, especially those of the three vows that I've collected from beginningless time, I confess each and every one with fervent regret from my heart. You strove for much learning and practice in this degenerate age, and made your freedoms and richnesses meaningful by abandoning the eight worldly concerns. Save you, we sincerely rejoice in your extensive deeds. Perfect, pure, holy gurus from billowing clouds of wisdom and compassion in the sky of the Dharmakaya, please let fall a rain of profound, extensive Dharma upon the receptacle of those to be subdued exactly as they need. May whatever virtue I have collected benefit the teachings of all transmigratory beings, and in particular may it cause the essence of the perfect pure Losandrapa's teachings to shine forever. Sashi Poki Shoshi Me Tog Tamri Rabling Shi Ni De Padi Sangye Shingdu Mi Te O Wa Yidu Konandak Shin La Chu Pa Sho. By the merits of having offered this mandal to Lama Tsongkhapa and his two sons, may I, my family members, and all sending beings be able to meet, practice, and actualize the teachings of the victorious one, Losandrapa, who had the morality of an eminently pure way of life, was courageous in the extensive conduct of the sons of the victorious ones, and accomplished the yoga of the two stages of supreme bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamiya Tayami. By the force of having fervently requested in this way, hollow beams of white light are emitted from the hearts of the perfect pure Father and sons, and combining into one enter my crown. White nectar, the colour of milk, flows from the opening of a tube of white light, cleansing all my sicknesses, spirit harms, negative karmas, obscurations, and their imprints without exception. My body becomes as pure and clear as crystal. And so we recite these 5 lines here 3 times of the Tibetan phonetics. Mimeze we te te chen re si, dreame kempo wampo jumpa yan, dumo balu jong we san we dan, gan chen tempen sen kan song kapa, lo zandra ble sabla so wa de, mimeze we te te chen re si, dreame kempo wampo jumpa yan, dumo balu jong we san we dan, gan chen tempen sen kan song kapa, Lozandra ble sabla so wa de mime se we te te chen rezi dreame kempe wamba jamba yan du mo balu chon we san we da gan chen tempen zeng kan song ka pa Los andrable sabla sovade.
Dang Sojin Chonum La Changju Pardu Dan Jabsun Chi Dagi Chushi Jebon Dag Roland Pension Sanjin Drubar Sho Sanji Shedang Sojin Chonum La Changju Pardu Dan Jabsun Chi Dagi Chushi Jebon Dagi Roland Pension Sanjin Drubar Sho Sanji Shedang Sojin Chonum La Changju Pardu Dan Jabsun Chi Dagi Chushi Jebon Dagi Roland Pension Sanjin Drubar Sho Kangi tuzi nizoni dawa tamche pambi chiri tambi chun tunzi kodam tela chansi lo shijin kyungun jawi lo dritu kesan nawi jenju lekshi sunchabi pechi lamin zebi tongdi tembi tongden la chansi namula ye kedan lo dano zhiki tribun dana mi ye kedan dan zhawa kunji chanum chizam tamche kedu dagi chuden do. Good morning everyone. Shokpa deli chambala. Who is Elisa? Tanda Sanchen Coast University Pomuji yung church sektu sanga lenjin church. Ndabali yewe lada.
University correspondent.
Pomuji ki mola church in the US modeli yung sektu sa.
Geshe is asking that there is one lady who has some questions. Is she available here today?
I don't think so. Yeah, it's okay. And su church, not church lenza. Just church US.
Since today is a question
Chasam.
and answer sessions, so if you have some questions, then please ask question.
Zai pasan la nganzu mi sawa yung na suyo na ani samchu lengyo res. An chik nanchu tola re kari na kiranzu chiwa kartana.
So as today's Friday, and Friday it's a session for question and answer. So you have any type of question you can ask me.
Digita. Teni tanda gyagar keba peki lebin chimbo ayan dewa kongi ani song oma shivgyaba sejo res. Hinalora, hinalora nidijor da peche ngan samalo la yate pe kishimbo chagayo sa res ro. Ani tumbi nyumu drasiki nyumu tangdi kansa min seji. Tumba sanji chomden degi pa drata goya ani meba so goya, pang goya ke drati nyumu dila sigiyori mato nyumu bi ondu songwe ani chigi kansa digi dila ya dra sigiyo mares. Dra sigiyo mares. Tazu nyen tagiyo res seji. Ani songyo res ra. Tadi nanchugi ya ani penata nanchugi nyingbu rochi chagiyo res. Nyumu tangdi kansa mens. Nyumu bi shawan songyo kansa di tela dra tagiyo mares seji re tato dodo.
Yes. Okay, then let me start like this. So there is an Indian master called Aryadeva, and he has composed a text which is called 400 verses. And this verse, all these verses, of course, are very important. And there is two line. It's very important for all of us that its meaning is something like this. So if you really want to call someone as an enemy, so this enemy should be your afflictive emotions or negative emotions. And for those, these negative emotions, who has these negative emotions and this human being or person, for that person, we should not consider those person as our own enemy. So this two lines, it's very important. So that's why here it's clearly stated that if you really want to say someone as your enemy, so that enemy should be negative emotions. And these negative emotions are something to be abandoned or extinguished. And these negative emotion, who has this negative emotions, and those person, one should not take them as your enemy.
다 디리다 지당니다 남바직 임바이나 아니 뉴몽생이 등외생 거에 다 개치무쇼 차거레스 좀 된디게 다 원보저버 상기야 돼야 뉴무빵니 상기바지 안 숨자 탐지 년도 슥투바 태야 뉴무빵니 아니 슥투바지 어디 차거레스
In general, so if you are Buddhist, it's very important to understand the afflictive emotions or negative emotions. Then Buddha Shakyamuni himself, he attained enlightenment. It's because of abandoning all the negative emotions. And Buddha Shakyamuni is able to, have compassion in his continuum. It's because of the abandoning all the afflictive emotions.
Shimoy said, you're Elisa? Okay. We're waiting for you. Okay, maybe you have some questions, yes? No questions? Okay. Yeah. Dinza, penang du samdang de dirwa. Mi mamuji ki nanchula ya toknang chigi yore, nambali shugu yore, chigi pigi, ta chigi kandun chigi yore da, lobzhong kanakansan chigi yore da ina ya. Ngonni ki pigi ki ta chigi pang goya, tor goya, ta chigi tsangma so goya ki, nyumung se ti tola ya, shu chigi samdang ka aya na samsam ro chigi. 지 뉴문기 응홍드 카리메 뉴물라야 예와 카리요메 아니 디츠 톨라 자원이네 지 시도 메비소로지 디차와이나 데니 지 난추 집이 고든로데 주야페 마서 카부레든도 아스라
So whenever if I, just try to think like this, there are many people, of course, who are interested in Buddhism, and there are many people who are, Buddhist also. And they are actually, of course, I said earlier that they are interested in Buddhism, and they do some kind of practices, and they do recite the commitments and do the practices also. Of course, they are doing these things, and it's very good for them. But when I try to see from other side, then are they really practicing well or not? It's because, they seems to be lacking something, that they are not trying to understand what is the meaning of these negative emotions. What are, you know, what are the negative emotions and so forth. So actually, this negative emotion is something we should abandon. This is something that, you know, it's something to be extinguished from its very root. So it seems that they are not able to, try to understand these points. So if you are not, trying to understand these points, then, you know, actually you are not going in the right direction. And the main purpose of being a Buddhist is not present. So that's why it's important to understand these points.
Terda, ta nimu ngu masimba ina, nimu pang kwaya sangmu khor khog marasra. Tani nimu di tangda len kwaya soto jita, kanji nimu bi shangwa do kirdengi kanza la ya kontro sadaya ma to, nimu ki kyan re samsam raji, samtang tuku ya samarwas.
If you are not able to recognize these negative emotions, then you will not be able to abandon all these negative emotions. And moreover, you will think that these negative emotions are something to be practiced. Or these negative emotions, sometimes it is helpful for us, so that's why it's necessary. So you might think like that. And moreover, you may also think like, you know, those who have these negative emotions, you tend to consider them as your own enemy.
Tenzi chomden di ta ngomba zoba sangin, ta simjan tamji ki chedo, sangi ni, an dujan nam ta dungar lu chobi ki tab song di, piki tangbo di dungar zin nang, ngotre nang, teni dungar kaan lin chombi gyu ngotre chibi kala ta nimu, ta shibshin chawaji songo yorasra. Nimu ngotre chini, nimu di pangi yume, nimu pambi tab yume, teni shii ni, ani piki ta kasa, ta nyamnen cheyagi, ani lam laba songla soba, ta tiki di shii ni songo yorasra. Za thongma nimu ngunzen goya di, kasa na dungar degu yomari, dungar kaani chombi gyu di, ani kal tuk yume shimjuk chiye, di shimjuk chiye ni zay chongon di, nimu lo tuk yoba di, ngon trayaji yungu yorasra. 아니 니문디 먼저 약 제바나 아니 랑기 gyula ya nimu kandachi yome shuk chechon kazusu yome dig rangla ya neba kandachi chigi yome yongsu zoba di ani pigi pok tuyachi tadi yungu yores.
Buddha Shakyamuni attained enlightenment uh, for the purpose of all the sentient beings, for the benefit of all sentient beings. And Buddha Shakyamuni taught us, when he first gave the teachings, he first try to teach us what is the meaning of suffering and what are its causes. So with regard to these causes, then, afflictive emotions or negative emotions. So he uh, explained this very clearly and deeply, how these negative emotions are negative, and this is something to be abandoned. So first he tried to explain all this in detail, then later how to practice, especially this three higher trainings. So first he tried to explain what is the meaning of this afflictive emotions, how it should be abandoned, and later he taught us that how one should actually practice and how one should use the three higher trainings. So that's why it's always important to recognize the afflictive emotions or negative emotions and try to understand how these negative emotions are, arising in your mental continuum, and this negative emotions, whether this is sometimes it arises, and whether this is powerful or not powerful, and how much it is affecting in you, how much problems are creating. It's, all these things you should try to consider and try to think, and whether it is helping you or not, one should always try to analyze like this.
다 니무 원천이 다 수수규라야 니무 가든 기기에메 하고 아니 니무 디게 아니 소수 비길라야 소수라야 가수 네고여메 베는 자원 농주용 소버셔데와디 미시 몽비 왕기 농주셔기라서라 미시 몽바디 다 니무로다 어 딘디 원체바나 아니 랑기줄라야 지 몽바 몽비 미시 몽비 왕기 테니 학벌 돈도 되어 소바 아니지 신주로도 따대야 신주로도 따와 디왕기 때니 아니 자원농주 쇼르와 용수 조바디 아니 뉴문기 왕기 용기여바디 뉴문기 왕기 쇼르여바디 아니 통투구여레스 통투구여레스 데다 소수 뉴문기 왕기다 디 쇼르고도 사운디 디 아니 가서 chawa marungwa mantikwa yongsu tsobati ani mishi mungbi wangi yungu yoba hakongandi ani mishi mungba sendoki mishi mungbi kyanyinba ta mishi mungba sendoki samlo jida korsara wasarwa.
After recognizing the negative emotions, then then actually one should think that it's because of negative emotions, especially the root cause of uh, our all the sufferings. It's because of this ignorance, and how this ignorance. It's because of this ignorance we are actually facing lots and lots of problems. So if you understand all these points, then uh, again you try to think like it's because of whatever I do, you know, whatever I face, challenges and some kinds of problems. All this is because of ignorance. It's because of ignorance, I tend to see the things as distorted, and I'm not able to see the things clearly as possible, and I end up doing all the wrong things. It's because of this ignorance, and it's because of this since this ignorance is one negative emotion. So it's because of these negative emotions, I have to face lots of problems. So if you try to think like that, then one will feel that it's necessary to first of all understand what is the meaning of afflictive emotions, and later you also think that I should try to abandon this the root cause, ignorance. So this is something that uh, you can actually think of.
일단 소수기 규기 니몽거트 아니 니몽그 소수라야 네바 가즈 기기메 원트도 스타 냠뇽레온디 아니 셴라야 비긴 통원데다 지 니몽비 왕기 농축쇼르야 와서 통원디 지 간지 아니 자주 말어 용수서버디 니몽을 토여번 통원디 데니 니몽 균딩 그 간사들이야 닌제야당 아니 지 니무라야 잔통야지 니무디 반드고 로지야지 띠용사라서라
Then when I talk about realizing or understanding this negative emotions, so these negative emotions, uh, one should actually understand one's own mental continuum. So if you understand this, then you just need to think for others too, since others are also under the power of these afflictive emotions. And all the sufferings and problems are actually created by these afflictive emotions. So if you try to, understand these points, then what happens is you will be able to generate compassion in your mental continuum for those person who is under the power of afflictive emotions. Then, of course, here you should make distinction here, or that afflictive emotion is the something that you should be abandoned. It should be abandoned, and for those person who has these afflictive emotions, one should be able to generate love and compassion.
더 디르다 더 넘버 산지 위치에서는 디르다스라 더 니무 비기 벤다 간주 뇽이 우스 뇽이 첩데다 간주 줄이야 착당글로 간주 기거스라 착당글로 자와디 에디 미시 몸바 마리바티 마리발라야 타라치 아니 타르투온디 지 무비 닐루 미시바 닐루라 신줄로비 로드슈비 로디 다 뉴문기 자원 타르투바티 띵문제 지거레스 텔레덴비기타니 아니 수시마인비 로 아니 차당 대샤기 왕기 콘드리 왕기다 아니 자전자 문다 지금 내봐시 용서버티 간지 아니 동하르세티 마기바 동하르기 소 동하르디 아니 뉴물라테니 용기 여반자 아니 어 용기 여반자 아니 뉴무티다 방고도스 뉴무세바 체고도스 까미디인 거라서
Then if you are trying, to call yourself as a Buddhist, then, you should understand all these points. And then, so in Buddhist, we are always talking about this, negative emotions. So how to first try to understand or recognize these negative emotions, then how one should actually abandon these negative emotions. So it's because of these negative emotions, then it leads to attachment, aversion, and so forth. Anyhow, all this attachment, aversion, and all this actually, the root cause is So here ignorance. So ignorance again, it can be divided into many parts. So anyhow, so here ignorance means that not understanding the reality. So this so this ignorance is actually a wrong consciousness. So it's because of this ignorance, then again it leads to attachment, aversion, and all the other negative emotions. And again, it leads to this suffering. And so if you try to understand all these stages or steps, then you will understand that this negative emotion is our main enemy, and it should be something to be abandoned, or it should be cleared away.
There's that these are 당원이 다 먼저 다 남절을 동는 시기에 넘버 시기에 완성. 아니 뉴무 무엇이니 뉴무 반드기 로직이 봐이나. 근데 다 뉴무 때 자체 자탄 방고도 삼비 로직이 봐이나. 근데 미디 당원이 넘버 차기가 서레스로 당원이 넘버 그 비기 남비기 따지 nenga tartubadi ta ngunzin chi tuwarda. Ti mena chik rangi gyuji sem nangla yubi chik nyumun di nguy masin ti tela pa chik nimbu tendo ku samlo chik tsawa nini mena teni shenpa karimu kari chede bayna ya ani namba sanjibi ku chue che yala nrugumu dasara.
So of course, uh, if you have some kind of interest in Buddhism, and you are being called as a Buddhist, then as I mentioned earlier, that it's always important to recognize what do you mean by this afflictive emotions or negative emotions. Moreover, then also how these negative emotions are, something to be abandoned. What are the ways to abandon these negative emotions? If you understand all these things, then you can really, call yourself as the real Buddhist practitioner. Then you, at that stage, then you can call yourself as Buddhist practitioner, and you actually realize all the details, or all the main points of you know uh, Buddhist text, that whatever has been taught in these texts. So then if you really don't understand that what's happening in your mental continuum, and how these, especially how this afflictive emotions are overpowering, or under, or this is like always harming our own mental continuum. If you don't understand all these things, then also like how to uh, how to give or show the antidote when this negative emotion arises, how to apply the antidotes. And if you don't know these things, then whatever you do other things, then I don't think it is considered as a practice of Buddhist.
다 뉴무 반드기로 지온디, 라 뉴무 그 누구여봐 뉴무 견진인바. 디랑기 샘나 레온디 디기 샘 추조여봐 랑 누구여봐 라촌디 뉴무 반드기 뉴무 매버손드기 로직 게임 거래스다. Sully Kigrista. Nimu Gyun Tong, Sam Ding Nimu Gyun Tong, Nimula Magavi Los Kiwana, Tepandu Los Kiungres. Tepandu Lo Kion dita, Nimu Paya Yu the Meseg, Chivati, Samna Ligorta. And Tirita.
Then one should always try to understand what is the meaning of this afflictive emotions and how this is the causing us, how this afflictive emotions causing us, since we always face challenges and problems and so forth. So after understanding all these things, then we understand that afflictive emotions is something one should actually abandon, and this is also like these are negative, and this because of this the negative emotions we it harms us um, in many ways. And actually, it's because of these afflictive emotions we are facing lots of problems and we have to suffer a lot. So then if you try to understand like that, then one will be able to generate the feeling that I should abandon this afflictive emotions. Then also on top of that, you may also think that whether this afflictive emotion something that is it possible to really abandon this or not, or you might think like that.
Tirda, Tadi Trapu Piorda, Tangonyobu Pendosra, Gonyobu Yore, any Trapu Payore, any Gonyobu, Trapu, Ting Sabu Chawandi, Tini Mimambugi, Ti Ya Tonachi, Chituguyo Marasra. Rikbut Dimni, Loshu, Dim Chin, Rikbut Dimni, Samtangoya Jin Zang, Mimanchagi, and the Chituguyo Mares. Tinzan Zambuli Nalolaya, number Chuluk Chuluk Manche Nane, Nambi Chuchingi, Nyonshu Chagoya Chigdi, and Pigdi Chakra, Ting Sabtrak, Chigre does. Nyonshu Chingi Dinani Yang, Nalenda Kibi almost Nanshingi, and ship Sabuchini, and Samdam Mutunge, Pemambo Yungores. Manzu Nambi Lomba Mang Chelayaji, and Chubapia do the Chatia do, or the Digi Pigi, and in Tang Nasaya sort of Jumato, one the Tanik P, Jomdindi Sonshabi, Denjigi, Landur Nilu Tolaya, Ribadumne, Samtang, and Ditching P New Year's. Kazago Chaburo, Leda Yomaras.
So whatever the points I have tried to express or try to explain, of course, all these are quite difficult, and it's also complicated, and it's also profound too. So it's because of these reasons, then lots of the people, they are not able to take interest in these points, since these points are something to be, you have to put lots and lots of effort to understand all these points. So that's why I guess that in this world, of course, there are many religious practitioners, and with regard to Buddhist practitioner. So Buddhist practitioner means very few practitioners are there. So I guess it's because of the above said reasons. Since this is quite difficult and it's complicated and it's profound too. It's because of these reasons that there are not many Buddhist practitioners in this world, and especially there are not many Buddhist practitioners who are actually try to understand the teachings, whatever the teachings that has been given by Nalendra masters. So from my point of view, what I understand is that there are many practitioners who try to offer and who try to make prostrations, who try to recite the mantras and so forth. And they are actually not they are actually not doing, or they are actually not practicing well enough, as Buddha Shakyamuni taught us the Four Noble Truths and all the details. So those practitioners who are able to actually practice whatever being taught by Buddha Shakyamuni, especially this Four Noble Truths and so forth, these practitioners are very limited. It's because these are not easy and they are very profound too.
Tirdinzada nyumupang loke nyumupang pang yume ki tiwale ani tiwi lenla ya nyumupang yu de meg takchwe ya di ani pena ta gyunzen ro shaba na nyumudi lo shinju lo res ko lo shinju lo yin banza ani seyo res lo shinju lo yin ba di yu ngubi nilu le ya jarchene ani nyumudi lo shinju lo yin ba di sungu res.
Then after understanding that these negative emotions is something to be abandoned, then actually at first maybe you have this question that whether this afflictive emotion, all these afflictive emotions are whether one can actually abandon or not. So then you try to see the reasons how these negative emotions one can actually abandon. So what are the reasons? Maybe you can think like this afflictive emotions, this is actually a consciousness. This is a wrong consciousness. Since this is a wrong consciousness, then of course one can actually abandon this. And when I say this is a wrong consciousness, then you need to think that it's wrong. Or you can also think that you are actually not able to understand the reality. So if we understand the reality, then we can understand that these afflictive emotions are wrong, wrong consciousness.
Erda ta yug nilu la ya charchene ta nyumu shinju lo yin pa de xewang de ani nyumu zandang ngun sen ko ya di nyumu tatsu ngun sen ko ya di kechin bu chaga dasra nyumu tatsu ngun sen ani yul korang nilu kari yime ani zeju xewang de ani nyumu tatsu lo ba yin pa chi yug nilu tun tong wang de ani nyumu tatsu lo ba yin pa chi 또투기요 res. 니무 신줄로 임바지. 유그 닐루든 통한디.
So it's always important to uh, understand here that one should be able to see the things as it is. So one should be able to understand what is the nature of reality. So if you try to understand all these things, then you will understand that these negative emotions are, something to be abandoned, and these negative emotions are actually wrong consciousness. And moreover, these negative emotions, you should try to analyze that its mode of apprehension is contradictory to the nature of reality. So whenever you understand this, the nature of reality, then you will understand that uh, afflictive emotions. Uh, all these afflictive emotions are actually the wrong consciousness, and you will understand that later that these negative emotions are something to be abandoned and cleared away.
답변은 니룩스라운데 율 비변은 안수 폼보다우티 안수 수보다우티 수비 니룩시온데 니룩 rimba mabu shiya yorasta niluk rimba mabu yorwastarwa niluk chikdi netang chikdi ani kechi kin gyuwi rangshi chayi bati kun gyuwi rangshi chayi bati takpa tembo meba gyuwi rangshi chayi bati pumbu digi niluk chik chagwa resi sukbu digi niluk chik chagwa resi
With regard to the nature of reality or the things as it is, so I will give you an example, our own aggregate or our own body. So this body has, many realities or many features. So one features is that our body keeps changing. It you know it changes momentarily. So this is one feature.
kun gyuwi rangshi chayi niluk rakba di pena tensangi tsenrikba tsoge dara trayo rasra nganzu dundra chik nanglo la ya sukbu ze chanzang gyo drogo yor sikdo asra 통과하다 kunzu 통과하다 nganzu dundra chik nanglo la ya ta tering chibi ta nima dungu che la ya nganzu sukbu nang ze yung su zobati jivu gyab drogo sikdo asra
With regard to these features of one of the features of our own body, as I mentioned earlier, that it keeps changing all the time. It momentarily changes, and it is in the nature of disintegration all the time. So this feature is actually the gross or coarser one, and since this is the gross feature, then this is something that scientists can recognize this how it changes momentarily. So within 1 week, all the cells inside our body, it changes. So this is something that uh, scientists can actually understand all these things.
다 dundra chik nangla chanzang jivu gyab drogo yoban ta pigi la ya karso ta chik gyo rundruba chin degi yobati yasa jatama lab thugo rasra tan gyo rundruba chin degi gyo rundruba chin de yobati ta yasa jat lab thugo rasra
So if in our body all the cells is of course it changes, it momentarily changes, and it is in the nature of disintegration. So when we understand this, or when I say this, then of course, there might be some causes which leads to these, momentarily changing, and it's in the nature of disintegration.
인바이네 간주 셈 나눠라야 딘 통구요 말, 딘 징기요 말, 디 초르기요 말다. 딱바 템보 소르지 마도. 셈 나눠 차난 티다. 피기 유 코랑 내다 님보디 튜마소스. 튜마소스라.
But in our mind, what we think is that our body is not in actually it is it is our body is our body or aggregate is something that's stable, firm, and it is the permanent. So this is what you feel, but in reality it's not like that. It always it keeps changing, and it momentarily changes, and it is in the nature of disintegration. So whatever you think, and in reality, it's not in accordance.
자, 피기 유 닐루 대당 디 닐루 지마 친신디 간주 가서다 일에 제트고요 말하다. 간주 피기디 로라 슝고요 말다. 간지 로나로 슝고요 말다. 로나로 로고요 말다. 라 라다 대상시하다 레베나리아 추고요 말다. 디 맞추야 디 육디 끼어레스나 깨 말했어. 간주 남주기 만다마 남주기 만다마 어디랬어?
Uh, since we are not able to understand correctly the way the things exist, we are not able to understand correctly the the object itself, and so generally we are saying that I don't believe this. And why we are not able to understand the reality of this object, and since we are not able to understand that, then so if somebody asks this question, that is it the fault from the point of view of object, is it the fault of object or not? So it's, of course, it's not the fault of this object. It's because of our own fault. It's because lack of intelligence from our own side.
대 피디 닐루디 로라 마쇼 마세 당들레 무투고 마세 피디 딱바 템보 소르지 로른 차데티 마리바세 데르스다 티 로라 차데티다 피기 네다 니모데 딱딱 간두지 용도 하서라 간두지 용도디 티 마리바레스다 티 마리바레스 다디 세요바디 피기 네당 디 규베란신지인바디 아니 콘도 추비 아니 로디게 아니 콘도 맞춰봐 비기다 신절로도 슈데 진대기 삼로디 아니 콘도 추비 로디 dob기 아니 세드로그레스 가드로그레스 어디서 거랬더라
Since we are not able to understand the nature of reality, or the way the things exist, then in our own mind, what we think is that these all these especially our own body, we feel that this body is permanent and stable and firm. So the thinking of this is actually the wrong consciousness, or this is actually, we can call it as the ignorance of being not understanding the reality. So here, then, whatever that you think and the reality is, it is not in accordance with the reality. So then how this wrong consciousness or this ignorance should be cleared away? How one should actually, how one can actually abandon this is, by understanding the reality itself. If try to understand the reality itself, then, this wrong consciousness or this ignorance, actually you can abandon, or it can be cleared away.
더 피기 내룩 치마 치지 랑기 똑투야기 탑롬 가리어레세 로 탑롬 가리어세 데르다
Then you might ask me this question: what are the skillful means to understand the reality or the things the way it exists?
디 똑야기 탑롬 디 리버 딤니 피기 톨야 아니지 규구 이어바티 균센 tamambu shoji ngore gyunzen digi de samni river dimni ani gyugyo bati samdan ko gores ro di kita pigi de kondu chutu gores da
Then the skillful means to understand this reality. So actually, one should put, lots of effort, and one should try to understand through, many reasons. So if you try to understand through many reasons, then of course one will understand the nature of reality, or the way the things exist.
ta river dim thu mundu lagra ta river dim thu mundu river dim thu ya tabshi yore sej jaji ya ta mangje dil egers taro
Then you might also ask me this question, that I'm not able to put lots of effort. So how one should, is there some, kind of method to put effort towards understanding this?
ta river dim matu ya thi lo di khasa kalan ro de ti chagdang chegores chagdang nimu teni 다 라방 고야려야 디 니주 룽하기 디 온도 소유 룽하기 니주저다 니비 쩌버저다 마탕이 쩌버저다 작비 온도 소유 룽하기 쩌버 마로완지 셀레기 와지 그래 셋난게 온도 소유 룽하기 쩌버 셀다 디기디 쩌버 디기디 베 짱가치는 담고 그랬어 니주 룽하기 쩌버 담고 그랬어 아니 어디를 릉하고 좁아 디 지금에 선데 켈렌친 다 마당이 좁아 마롱이 좁아 지 이생려야 아니 생그 소초야 생기 아니 지 론조 고모고야 생려야 잼체로 소바 아니 셈 투드야 기더니 뉴준 동야로 소베 디디페 안 생가 책이스 지금에 비 켈렌체디 아니 수좀 세거레스 디 템부 지어봐나 아니 가서다 작당 락비기 원도 손이 아니 녀주시야디 용거 말이스 근데 시 말rel레 파워도지 마테스 직 샘디 rel레 파워지 덴디기 아니 lunga ki nyeju dumbi ki Tsultrim ki domba di ani suzu ki kelen di yobay na kelen zama chi yobay na di korangi ani chi sem ani chakdang rakbi ki ondu mason ya ki sem hyola pawyala ya keba shuch yungu yores di Tsultrim yongen so Tsultrim namba taba yongen so la ya nyamnyo yores da dirwa
Then I'm not able to put some effort to understand this, then how actually uh, uh, what are the ways to put more effort? It's because of one's own mind, since our mind scattered or it goes here and there all the time. Uh, So why our mind scatters a lot and why our mind go here and there? It's because of our own this since our mind is under the power of attachment and aversion, and since we are under the power of this uh, these afflictive emotions, then we are not able to fix it our mind in one point. So to have this mind, or to uh, you know to apply our mind where this mind stays in single point, then actually one needs to uh, refrain, or one needs to turn away from the misdeeds of our own body and speech. So if we are able to turn away the misdeeds of body and speech, then we will not fall under the power of this uh, uh, attachment and aversions. Then all the mistakes will be stopped, especially all these mistakes in the sense that we will not end up killing, and we will not end up stealing, and we will not enjoy, or we will not use the intoxicant things. So if we have this kind of promise that I will never do all these mistakes, then if one can promise, then of course this is called as ethical discipline. So if you have this type of promise in your mental continuum, then one will never fall under the power of grosser level of uh, this afflictive emotions, especially attachment and aversion. Then your mind feel relaxed, and your mind will not go here and there, and your mind will not be scattered. So this makes a really big difference. So if you have these promises, or if you are practicing this ethical discipline, then your mind will be at peace. Your mind will feel relaxed and more comfortable. So you can see that who practice this ethical discipline well, and they have all these experiences. This is something quite evident.
anga dini lunga ki nyeju dom tu samare kalaka wo pendo ta chemba chik rigba dhimya ki tabshi yoren roji lavay na ta dini lav sigira ta mi lav sigira wasra dini yungu yora ta
So then, Gisela, you said that I'm not able to, you know, control my misdeeds, especially with regard to my own body and speech. So if you try to ask me this question, this is possible. There are many possibilities there.
Tene nganzu ta gomba thasang daw jimba na. Ani gegen so ta ani kobla ya tinga share gores. 탑시 셴바 요 말다. 탑시 셴바 요 말다.
So then there are no other ways or there are no other methods to not to scatter your mind. So especially in our monastery, so if somebody try to ask this type of question, then teacher will thrash you, or our teacher will use the rosary to beat you. So there are no other ways other than this.
엄마,
Question mark.
뭐였어 말.
Um, So Gisela is actually trying to say that there are no other ways than to follow whatever I said earlier. And if you try to ask me these type of question, so if this same question, if this same question is asked in our monastery, then our teacher will give corporal punishment. They will use their rosary and they will hit you.
니마도 탑시 요 말다. 다 릭바 슈 dim 거다. 릭바 슈 dim야라야. 지 루스부네네 릭바 dim야라야. 지 착당 락비기 완도 줘대야. 예줄라 슈데 디파치 까마드나 테니 릭바 양타바지 dim야다 요 말레스. 틴장 다 룽아 그 예주 동야디 다 자와드 차고르스다. 저 룽아기 니주도 봐 지금 dom도 봐이나 아니 샘디 비네루 참물에 때마토나 비 유치라 봐 때치는 샘디 레보스는 대투야기 아니 종더 체투거레스 저 작당 작비 봐 까비 아니 술좀 라바티야나 아니 니바텔이야 다 딩이즈세기 샘찌지도 네바티 어디 돈이다 아니 제바 지금 봐이나 테니 최남기 닐루 참모디 통온디 또온디 테니 닐루라 신줄로도 쉬비 다 니몬비 릭디 테니 아니 남칸이 찜바예와 나신신 샘나니 야드와치 대용고여레스 다 디제 상게 세데 디니도지 다 넘버 상기비 다지 간지 아니 최고 드럼시도 용서바디 다 디는 디고도 아스라
As I mentioned earlier, that there are no other ways other than those points which I mentioned earlier, especially if you try to, put lots of effort, or if you try to concentrate on a single object, uh, or if you try to understand the reality, we need to we need to have some kind of understanding, or we need to practice where our mind did not go here and there, or our mind do not scatter. So it's because of this under the power of this uh, attachment and aversion, then we are not able to fix our mind in one single object. So to fix this problem, actually, we need to turn away from all the misdeeds of, especially of our body and speech. So this becomes very important here, and this is actually the root. This is actually the fundamental thing. Uh, so if you can abide in this ethical discipline, then of course one can actually think of the concentration, or the one can actually practice the meditative stabilization or concentration, since you are able to concentrate, or you are able to practice this meditative stabilization, then you can actually think about practicing the realizing the nature of reality, especially the certain level of this reality. Uh, then if later, of course, you will practice this understanding of the realizing the emptiness itself. Then at that point of time, you will understand that this afflictive emotion is this is wrong consciousness. And later also, of course, then putting more efforts, then all of your negative emotions will be cleared away, as you know in the sky, all the dark clouds are cleared away, and you will be able to see the uh, space or sky clearly. Like that, you will understand the nature of reality, and later, of course, you will attain enlightenment. So these are the basic or fundamental understanding of Buddhism.
그래도 다 조디 뉴무 방야들이 뉴무 방야 뉴무 삐야들어 뉴무 삐야들은다 다 뉴무 내사디 간줄lun가 익숨려야 로 류다 가니 다 뉴무기 페제소를 시기다더라 샘 나올이야 뉴무데 아니 간주 샘 나올이야 뉴무데 데치네 아니 lun가 익숨데 뉴무기 페제치소르시 때 lun가 익숨도 추 아니 가서 다지 초직들 대신에 뉴무파 마 비유서를 시작하더라. 뉴무기 lun가니 배주지니 예주드 치고래 예주드 까니 동발래니 예주드 까원디 뉴무기 류당나티 배주체서 매겨로지. 차용도 하더라. 더 샘낭로야 땡인즈의 피기 시르 유비닐루 토리아 아니 슈드름의 상당원디 아니 샘디야 배주체서 매겨지. 데 메디기 아니 뉴무디 술도 된다야지. 아, 나한다마스나 그 로가 된다야지. 디 용거도 디 용에 용거랬더라. lunga 익음 니슈 찍디 팀니 아니 뉴무 피야기 탑시 지금만 랑기 셈나니 뉴무 피 투기어랬어. 더 도도전에 디레스로.
The main important thing here is how to abandon, or how to extinguish this afflictive emotion or negative emotion. So with regard to these negative emotions, so as I mentioned earlier, that our own body and speech is the one who is using this actually negative emotions. Then in our mental continuum, this negative emotions reside. or it stays in our mental continuum. And our own body and speech is using these negative emotions or afflictive emotions. Then if we, try to uh, stop all these activities, especially, if we try to turn away from the misdeeds with regard to body and speech, and if we try to you know, have some kind of vows, then what we are doing here is we are actually trying to push away the negative emotions from our body and speech. And with regard to our mind, then if we try to practice the concentration or meditative stabilization and the wisdom, if we try to develop our wisdom, especially the wisdom realizing emptiness, then we are, of course, we are trying to push away or we are trying to clear away the negative emotions from its roots. We are trying to clear away our negative emotions from our mind, from our body, from our speech. So then we try to later we can actually uh, uh, clear away or extinguish these negative emotions from its roots. So here the main point is if we try to, create the situation or create an environment where all our body, mind, and speech comes together and, you know, try to be in union or unified and all its power, then it makes very powerful so that we can actually fight with the negative emotions. So then, of course, one can actually extinguish or abandon these negative emotions. So, if you have some questions, then of course I'm happy to answer. And if you don't have questions, then I will stop this session.
Thank you.
Page 8, or yeah, on the screen. Final Lamrim prayer. For my two types of merits, vastest space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds, wisdom, eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths with teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings as it points the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold the Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread, have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time. By even this graded path to enlightenment, completed due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their sons, may all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. When someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may he always be assisted by the mighty ones. May oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. Incomparably kind and supreme Tenzin Gyatso, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world. May you have long life and all your wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And then for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, spiritual head of this center and the other centers in our organization, for him to return. They're on page 10. Peerless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pratiyeka Buddhas, victorious Losang, father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge, infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of this accomplishing of prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Buddha's precious and complete teachings, through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable, venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateways through which all benefit and happiness emerge from loving living beings, you suddenly depart to peace. What a great loss! Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth, the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels, and the great waves, the bodhicitta of the true and the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples. Janchu Sencho Rinpoche, Mage Panam Ke Gurchi, Kepa Nyamba Me Payi, Gone Gondu Pelwa Sho.